Welcome all. This is Abhilash. So in this session we are going to talk on fundamental rights, the counters of constitutional rights and duties. So you should know your rights. So definition of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are essential human rights that are offered to every citizen irrespective of caste, race, creed, place of birth, religion or gender. These are equal to freedom and those rights are essential for personal goods and the society at large. We have a six fundamental rights. First, right to equality, then right to freedom, right to freedom of exploitation, that is right against exploitation, the right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, the rights to constitutional remedies. So now let's discuss the right to equality. Equality before law, Article 14 of the Constitution guarantees that all citizens shall be equally protected by the laws of the country. Social equality and the equal access to the public areas. Article 15 of the Constitution states that no person shall be discriminated on the basis of caste, color, language. Every person shall have equal access to public places like public parks, museum, wells, bathing ghats, and temple. However, the state may take any special provision for women and children. So this is one of the important right to equality, social equality, and equal access to public areas. Equality in matters of public employment. Article 16 of Constitutions lays down that the state cannot discriminate against anyone in the matters of employment. All citizens can apply for government jobs. Abolition of untouchability. Article 7 of the Constitution abolishes the practice of untouchability. Practice of untouchability is an offense and anyone doing so is punishable by law. Abolition of titles. Article 18 of the Constitution prohibits the state that conferring any titles. Citizens of India cannot accept titles from the foreign state. So basically, the what is the right to equality? As long as the poverty, injustice, and the gross inequality persist in the world, none of us can truly rest. This is said by the Nelson Mandela. So democracy can only thrive and flourish where the individuals in the society are treated equally and without discrimination. Thus, it was failed by the farmers of the constitutions to incorporate such provisions to remove the hurdle of existing social and economic inequalities and enable the diverse communities of the country to enjoy the rights and the liberties guaranteed under the constitutions. It was believed to the essential to remove inequalities based on the religion, social norms, age-old traditions practiced in part of the India like untouchability, casteism, race discrimination. The right to equality means the absence of legal discrimination only on the ground of caste, race, religion, sex, and place of birth, and the ensure right to equal rights to all citizens. It is considered basic features of the Indian Constitution. Next is right to freedom. So, what is the meaning of freedom? The right to freedom comes under the one of the fundamental rights. It is enriched in the Indian constitutions. It is important to understand what rights are and what they entail. The subject is a major in politics and electives of the UPSC Civil Service Examination Program. The right to freedom guarantees citizens, among other things, the freedom is to live in dignity, They are regulated in Article 19, 20, 21A and 22 of the Indian Constitutions. So freedom of speech and expression, which enable an individual to participate in public activities. The phrase freedom of press has not been used in Article 19, but freedom of expression includes freedom of press. Freedom to assemble peacefully without arms, on which the state can impose reasonable restriction in the interest of the public order and the sovereignty and integrity of India. Freedom to form association or unions, on which the state can impose reasonable restriction on this freedom in the interest of public order, morality and the sovereignty and the integrity. Freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India. Yes, through reasonable restriction can be imposed on the right in the interest of the general public. For example, restriction may be imposed on the movement and traveling so as to control epidemics. Freedom to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India, which is also subject to reasonable restriction by the state in the interest of the general public for the protection of the scheduled tribes, because certain safeguards as are envisaged here seem to be justified to protect indigenous and tribal peoples from exploitation and coercion. Freedom to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business, on which state may impose reasonable restriction in the interest of the general public. Thus, there is no right to carry on a business which is dangerous or immoral. In the Article 19, protection of six rights based on the freedom. First is the language and afference. Second one is assembly. Third is association. Fourth is protest. Fifth is accommodation, and sixth is the business. So in the Article 20, protection related to criminal penalties has been there available. So Article 21 is talking about the right to life and individual freedom. Article 21A is talking about the right to the basic education. Article 22 is talking about the protection from arrest and imprisonment in the some cases. Article 19 is guarantees six freedom. They are that we are discussing now. But Article 19, the freedom of expression, freedom of association, trade unions, cooperatives, freedom of movement, freedom housing freedom, and freedom of work. That we are discussed just now. So next is right against exploitation. The abolition of trafficking in human being and the beggar forced labor, abolition of employment of children below the age of 18 years in dangerous jobs like factories and mines. So this rule has been changed now. The abolition of employment of children below the age of 18 now, 18 years in the dangerous jobs like factories and mines. Beggar practice in the past by the landlords has been declared as a crime and is punishable by law. Trafficking in humans for the purpose of slave trade or prostitution is also prohibited by law. So forced labor in India was imposed by landlords, money lenders and other wealthy persons in the past. The Article 23 of the Indian Constitution prohibits human trafficking and the beggar forced labor without payment to protect the millions of the underprivileged and deprived people of the country. This right is available to citizens of the India as well as the non-citizens. The right provides against the human trafficking in the form of selling and buying of man, women, and children, prostitutions, devdasis, and slavery. Prohibition of child labor, as per the Article 24 of the Indian Constitution, forbids employment of children below the age of 18 years in dangerous jobs. However, it did not prohibit their employment in any harmless or in innocent work. The Child Labor Act 1896, renamed as the Child Adolescent Labor Act 1986 in 2016, specifically deals with the violation of related to the rights. The 2016 amendment of this act completely prohibited employment of a children below the 18 years of the age in all occupation and processes. It also prohibited the employment of abscondent in hazardous accommodation or process. Right to freedom of religion. So on this wall you can see the logos of different religions, icons of different religions, right? According to the constitution, all religions are equal before the state. No religion shall be given preference over the other. Citizens are free to preach, practice, propagate any religion of their choice. Religion communities can set up charitable institutions of their own. Activities in such institutions which are not religious are performed according to the law laid down by the government. No person shall be compelled to pay taxes for the promotion of a particular religion. A state-run institutions cannot impart education that is pro-religion. Right? So freedom of conscience, profession, practice, propagation, as per the Article 25 of the Constitutions of India, provides the freedom of conscience to profess, to practice, to propagate, and religion. These rights are available to citizens as well as non-citizens. Conscience, a person may or may not choose to follow any religions. Right to profess means one can declare his her religious beliefs and faith openly and freely. Right to practice means performance of religious worship, rituals, ceremonies, and exhibition of beliefs and ideas. Right to propagate, persuading people to convert from one religion to another. However, the Constitution does not allow forcible conversions. It only gives us the right to spread information about a religion, thus attract others to it. The fifth right is fundamental right is the cultural and educational rights. Elementary education is now a fundamental right to every child. Article 19, 29 and 30. The protection of interests of minorities is written in the Article 29 provides that every section of citizens residing in any part of the country have the right to protect and conserve its own distinct language, script or a culture. It provides the right to a group, section or community of people. Further, it says that the no citizen shall be denied admission into any education institutions on the ground of only of religion, race, caste, or language. It provides the right to an individual citizen. Article 29 grants protection to the both religious as well as the cultural minorities. However, the rights are not necessarily restricted to the minorities only, as it is commonly assumed to be. It includes minorities as well as the majority. Any community which has a language and a script of its own has a right to conserve and develop it. All minorities religious can set up their own educational institutions to preserve and develop their own culture. Right to constitutional remedies. The last fundamental right of the constitutions of India. Right to constitutional remedies empower the citizens to move a court of law in case of any denial of fundamental rights. This procedure of asking the courts to preserve or safeguard the citizens' fundamental rights can be done in various ways. The courts can issue various kind of writs. These rights are habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, and certiorari. Right to constitutional remedies. Article 32 is considered the most important article of the Constitution as it provides that the right to get fundamental rights protected is itself a fundamental right. It confirms the right to remedies for the enforcement of the fundamental rights of an aggrieved citizen. The Supreme Court has ruled that Article 32 is a basic feature of constitutions, hence it cannot be abridged or taken away even way of an amendment to the constitutions. It contains the sum of four provisions in the right to constitutional remedies: the right to move the Supreme Court by appropriate proceeding for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. The Supreme Court shall have power to issue directions or orders or writs for the enforcement of any fundamental rights. Parliament can empower any other court to issue direction, orders, writs of all kinds. The rights to move to the Supreme Court shall not be suspended except as otherwise provided for by the constitutions. So only the fundamental rights guaranteed by the constitutions can be enforced under the Article 32, and not any other right like non-fundamental constitutional rights, statutory rights, and customary rights. The violation of the fundamental rights is the sine qua non, absolutely necessary condition for the exercise of the right confirmed by Article 32. If you have any question, you can text me in our Telegram, in our WhatsApp group, or you can call me on my number as well. Thank you. Best wishes.